Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I ask my question on behalf of nature and more than 600 bears and their orphan cubs. The BC Conservation Officer Service is essentially the Environment Minister's own little army, Mr. Speaker. It's a heavily armed service of special provincial constables with unlimited appointments, no constabulary independence, no arm's length oversight. Unlike other constables, under Section 106 of the Environmental Management Act, BC Conservation Officer Service is, quote, under the direction of that minister, end quote. As I learned from the Environment Minister's colleague this week, the only way for the Conservation Service to have basic independence, the basic independence and arm's length oversight that British Columbians expect from people with those unlimited appointments, is for the Environment Minister to ask. So, in my response today, will he turn to his colleague and ask that the BC Conservation Service be designated a police or law enforcement service effective immediately?
Minister of Environment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the member for the question, notwithstanding the fact that characterizing the women and men who work in the Conservation Officer Service, protecting communities, valued by communities, protecting wildlife, and generally ensuring that activities around the interface between humans and animals and the safety of animals and nature against poachers and others are dedicated. They're the furthest thing possible from a private army directed by a minister. There is a chain of command in the Conservation Officer Service. The Solicitor General,
Member.
The Solicitor General and I have had many conversations around the appropriate oversight and phasing different bodies into the Police Act since a decision of the courts affirmed that the Conservation Officer Service were in fact, in certain circumstances, a special constabulary. What I will tell you is that the Conservation Officer Service supports the implementation of third-party oversight as a tool to enhance transparency and public trust. We are working on that. We currently also have measures in place that provide for oversight and response to complaints. We have a new position, the Inspector of Provincial Standards, to monitor and provide oversight on complaints. We are working with other bodies. We are developing a response to the public that wants to see oversight. The member, Honourable Speaker, can shake his head, as he often does when I provide factual answers, but they are the facts.
Thank you. Member has supplemental.
The minister knows where the chain of command ends, and it's at his feet. That's where the chain of command ends, and it's unique. It's unique for people with these unlimited appointments to be under the direction of a minister, Mr. Speaker. And in fact, all we need to do is go back to estimates or to the bill debate this week for the Minister of Public Safety to admit that he doesn't have the same powers over people with these unlimited appointments as the Minister of Environment does. So I am shaking my head for good reason, Mr. Speaker, because the people that he characterized, good people in the BC Conservation Service, don't have the basic level of safety and security that their colleagues who are working for municipal police services have. We expect that. That's the confidence that we can have in our police services when we give them these powers. That's the expectation that the people that they work alongside with, the RCMP officers, the municipal police services, expect that the people working alongside them have the same oversight. That doesn't exist in this province, Mr. Speaker, and it was a basic admission from the Minister of Public Safety earlier this week. I wonder why it is that the Minister of Environment wouldn't want the people who investigate crimes against nature to have independence in those investigations. When was the last time that we saw in this province an environmental investigation lead to charges, Mr. Speaker, of any level of seriousness? I wonder why that's the case. Anyway, look, we can't sell that we've got this exceptional framework, Mr. Speaker, in this province, gloating that we have world-class resource extraction standards, if our nature cops, Mr. Speaker, are the enforcement puppets of the Cabinet Minister. So my question to the Minister of Environment, will he turn to his colleague, the Minister of Public Safety, and ask him today, right now, in front of the people of British Columbia, to designate the BC Conservation Officer Service as a police or law enforcement service effective immediately.
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it is sad that the member opposite, the House Leader for the third party, simply can't hear or comprehend the answers that are given. I have never said I don't support
Let the minister. Members, we are wasting time in question period. Please. Minister will conclude.
I have never said I don't support independent oversight. In fact, I do.
Member.
In fact, the Conservation Officer Service has adopted the practice of hiring an external lawyer to conduct investigations into any alleged serious misconduct complaints. We will continue to look at new measures and are currently looking at new measures to ensure that the public can have trust that their complaints are handled independently, with integrity and transparently.